With Hollywood betting against her, Marilyn Monroe risked everything for Bus Stop.
We were convinced that her performance was going to be a disaster.
She walked out on her contract with 20th Century Fox and enrolled in acting school. Find out how one movie would make or break the heart of a legend.
She was absolutely fantastic.
Get the backstory on Bus Stop. It's the stories you've never heard about the movies you can't forget. Watch Backstory, the AMC original series, coming up next.
I always felt I was a nobody, and the only way for me to be somebody was to be, well, somebody else, which is probably why I wanted to act. When I was 5, I didn't like the world around me because it was kind of grim, but you could pretend. And even if the other kids were a little slow on the imagining part, you could say, "Hey, what about if you were such and such, and I were such and such? Wouldn't that be fun?" It was play. When I heard that this was acting, I said, well, that's what I want to do. Play.
Even in black and white, her skin photographed like flesh. Not just an expanse of gray across a movie screen, but living flesh that glowed, luminous, almost touchable, just beyond reach maybe, but still inviting and somehow tantalizingly available. And that was black and white. In color and close-up. Wow! She was Marilyn. But before that, she was Norma Jean.
When I was 11, the whole world, which was always closed to me, I just felt like I was on the outside of the world. Suddenly, everything opened up. I had this long walk to school, 2.5 miles to school and 2.5 miles back. It was just sheer pleasure. Every fellow honked his horn, you know. Workers driving to work, waving, and I'd wave back. The world became friendly. But it was kind of a double-edged thing. I did find that people took a lot for granted. Like not only could they be friendly, but they could get overly friendly and expect an awful lot for very little.
Norma Jean grew up in Los Angeles in a succession of orphanages and foster homes. When she was 16, the family she was living with moved east, so Norma Jean got married. It was either that or return to the orphanage.
I wasn't much in high school. I wasn't much anywhere. So I figured a housewife was as good as I could hope to be. Becoming a movie star? Are you kidding me? Me? That never even crossed my mind then. I was lucky just to go see a movie. Be in them, ha! And now here I am, in them. Funny. The time I sort of began to think I was famous, I was driving somebody to the airport, and as I came back, there was this movie house, and I saw my name in lights. I pulled the car up at a distance down the street. It was too much to take up close, you know, all of a sudden. And I said, God, somebody's made a mistake. But there it was in lights. I kept driving by the theater with my name on the marquee. Marilyn Monroe. Wow, was I excited. I wished they were using Norma Jean, so that all the kids at home and at school who never noticed me could see it. They'd have been surprised.
In December 1954, after finishing the 7-year itch, Marilyn ran away from Hollywood. She wanted more control over her career and her life. So wearing a black wig and traveling under the name Zelda Zonk, she flew to New York.
An actor is not a machine, no matter how much they want to say you are. Creativity has got to start with humanity. And when you're a human being, you feel, you suffer. But everybody is always tugging at you. They'd all like sort of a chunk of you. They kind of like to take pieces out of you. When you're famous, you kind of run into human nature in a raw kind of way. It stirs up envy, fame does. People you run into feel that, well, who is she? Who does she think she is, Marilyn Monroe? I don't look at myself as a commodity, but I'm sure a lot of people have. Of course, it depends on the people. Sometimes I'm invited places to kind of brighten up a dinner table, like a musician who will play the piano after dinner, and I know I'm not really invited for myself. I'm just an ornament.
When Marilyn missed several days shooting Something's Got to Give, her studio, alarmed by rising costs, shut down the film and fired her. Depressed and humiliated, confused and feeling abandoned, Marilyn tried to figure out the direction her life would now take.
I'm 36 years old. I don't mind the age. I like the view from here. The future is here for me, and I have to make the most of it, as every woman must. So when you hear all this talk of how tardy I am, or how often it seems that I make people wait, remember, I'm waiting too. I've been waiting all my life. I'm a failure as a woman. My men expect so much of me because of the image they've made of me and that I've made of myself as a sex symbol. They expect bells to ring and whistles to whistle, but my anatomy is the same as any other woman's. I can't live up to it. Do you know who I've always depended on? Not strangers, not friends. The telephone. That's my best friend. I love calling friends, especially late at night when I can't sleep. I have this dream. We all get up and go out to a drugstore.
Star. Icon. Marilyn. She was the biggest success story Hollywood ever produced.
Really?
And the greatest tragedy. American Movie Classics presents an original documentary that takes an in-depth look at the final days of Hollywood's most beloved and bewildering icon.
Marilyn Monroe.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Her steamy serenade to JFK. Her bitter fight with the studio that fired her.
She didn't have any respect for them.
And the lifelong heartache that consumed her.
She was like a caged animal. Nobody could get near her.
Then, see the groundbreaking reconstruction of her last film. And finally, the movie premiere the world has waited almost 40 years to see. Don't miss Marilyn Monroe, The Final Days, Friday, June 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern, with an encore at 10. Part of Pure Platinum. AMC celebrates Marilyn Monroe. American Movie Classics. Great movies and the stories behind them. With Hollywood betting against her, Marilyn Monroe risked everything for Bus Stop.
We were convinced that her performance was going to be a disaster.
She walked out on her contract with 20th Century Fox and enrolled in acting school. Find out how one movie would make or break the heart of a legend.
She was absolutely fantastic.
Get the backstory on Bus Stop. It's the stories you've never heard about the movies you can't forget. Watch Backstory, the AMC original series, coming up next.